All right, everyone, there's another layer of astroturfing that I'm seeing right now, and that's Donald Trump is afraid. He was hoping to run against Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris, because she's exciting and she's younger. This is going to tie in with the astroturfing about the age issue within politics. There is no problem with somebody who is old running for office, if they aren't fucked up. But they're going to draw a parallel between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Once they reveal to the public how fucked up Joe is, which they may or may not completely do, they probably won't admit to him having a series of strokes until after the election's over, to try to save Kamala because she would have known, and therefore she didn't tell the public, and the public wouldn't react very well to that. That's number one. Point number two. What they're going to do is say, well, Donald Trump is the same age as Biden was when he sought office and he couldn't complete his term. He resigned or he couldn't run for re-election. That's not a problem because, of course, Trump can't run for re-election if he's re-elected to the office because he served a second term. But, I digress, that won't be mentioned in the legacy media reporting. The most epic cope, though, is the pretense that Donald Trump is shaking in his boots about running against Kamala Harris. No, I think that he is extremely happy right now. Kamala has built up a substantial war chest in the first 24 hours of campaigning. Big money no longer matters as much within politics. So that's number one. Number two, a debate between Donald Trump and the cackler is not going to go particularly well for Kamala Harris. Will it be as disastrous as the first debate? Probably not. And they'll astroturf that too. They'll say, well, she certainly did much better than Joe Biden, even though she lied the whole time and made a series of verbal errors and stumbled over her words and then cackled when Donald Trump brought up "you many children" or something like that. If I were Trump's advisor for the September debate, I would say, get under Kamala's skin. You're not going to be able to be, she's not going to hang herself verbally to the same degree that Biden obviously did. At some point, you could see it visibly on Trump's face. After like 10 minutes of debating Joe Biden, Trump just stopped giving a damn. He's like, okay, I don't need to go hard against this dude. He's just going to destroy himself, so I'm going to let him speak. He didn't talk over him or anything like that. It was a sight to behold. It's the first time we've seen Trump debate in that manner. It worked. With Kamala, you're going to have to antagonize her weird response, her tendency to smirk and cackle and throw her head around like this and do weird shit like that when she's confronted with something that's uncomfortable. You'll also have to tie her in with the Biden administration and say, look, you were VP. All the baggage of the administration is at least partially on you anyway. So the inflation, you were border czar. Yeah, Trump is totally not going to exploit that. He's shaking in his boots. When asked a question about immigration, Trump's totally not going to bring that up. Hey, Joe wasn't even fully responsible for the mess at our border and all the fentanyl and the crime and all of these things. You were appointed border czar within the first few months of the administration. You went to the border twice for a couple of short photo ops, and that's literally all you did. Also, you're talking, and Trump can also exploit this. She's AI czar, right? The Democrats have made a big mess about AI deepfakes within politics, right? Big tech does this too. Well, you're AI czar. You should have done something about it, right? Yeah, you didn't do anything. Hey, remember that time that Joe alienated the Japanese? By the way, what are you going to tell to Asian Americans? There are so many lines of attack that Donald Trump could use, and if the first debate is an indicator with that style of format, forcing Trump to be more linear so that he can't do the run-on thing, he can't do the talking over himself and others thing, keeping him more linear, he can exploit those lines of attack. I think that he's going to decimate her at the debate. I think he's going to cripple her. Now we wait to see who J.D. Vance is going to be debating against. It could be Shapiro, although I think, honestly, people are overrating his chance. Could be Connolly. It could be Buttigieg. In theory, it could be like a Whitmer or something. I just don't think that's likely. I think it'll be a one id poll ticket. So Kamala's a black female, or female of color, a colored person, which is a derogatory term, actually, but they just inverted the words, and it's perfectly fine. Person of color, BIPOC. So I think they'll choose a white male. and probably not Buttigieg because he's gay, and that would be a double id poll ticket. You want to be left and trendy and hip, hipster-ish, but you don't want to be too trendy. You got to appease the boomer voters too. This is all very, very strategic, what's happening right now. She doesn't need any help getting the leftoid vote. She's already got the Geek Squad aboard, so she needs somebody who can appeal to more moderate voters. Otherwise, she risks alienating all the Union Dems. Although at this point, I think that the ticket probably already has done that. I think that the corporatists are even scared of Kamala. Because while Joe Biden was incoherent and out of it, clearly demented, you could count on other people in the administration to call the shots for him. With Kamala, you've got the big ego like Biden had, but you also have coherence. You have somebody who's 20 years younger, or 25 or something like that. Well, then she has a will of her own. You have to deal with that. Also, she's big in with the Clintons. The Obama clique more or less closed rank around Joe Biden until the last moment. The Clintons were a little bit more hesitant now, weren't they? It's a big problem. Hillary Clinton maybe be a running mate or something. It's not going to happen, but it'd be funny. The epic cope, though, about Trump being afraid of a Kamala Harris presidential run. My goodness, have you checked the polling? As of the debate performance, they started polling for Harris, too. Harris performs more poorly than Joe Biden. Now, some of that is that people recognize Biden more, so there are less undecided voters within the samples. But even in polls where you don't have an undecided sampling, and it's just Trump v. Harris, she polls a little bit behind where Joe Biden was. At this point, I think Virginia leans red. I think that Minnesota, well, actually, Minnesota, she probably has a bit of an advantage. Maybe that leans back towards blue. In New Hampshire, may lean red. We're not sure about Maine. We don't have any good fucking polling there, and we probably never will. I think that several of the swing states are effectively off of the table for the Democrats. Georgia's pretty much off the table, for example. North Carolina, it appears Nevada. Now with the defortification in Arizona, that state might also be team red. Trump could actually win Arizona despite Maricopa County. I just don't count on it too much. That gets him above 250 between those states. Well, there are a whole bunch of other states that are on the table. He really only needs one of the big ones or a couple of the smaller ones, and he's won re-election. And I think, again, it boils down to Americans really love a fallen hero who gets back up. Trump has that advantage. They also really love it when the dude running almost got his head brained. He turns his head at the last fucking moment, and then he turns it into campaign merch. You have the most iconic photo in modern U.S. politics to run on. And so it looks a little bit like the Iwo Jima scene, actually, which people have noted before. Trying to astroturf the concept that Trump is afraid of Kamala Harris, my God. He couldn't have a better debate partner. He wishes he had a time machine to take us forward to September at this point. I kind of wish that I did too, because then I wouldn't have to do so much fucking work outside. It's cope. They're huffing the copium hardcore right now. Did you see Ron Perlman's crazy statement about Elon Musk earlier, by the way? We'll be talking about that in today's live stream. That's about all. Peace out.